Have you ever stopped to think about the untold stories hidden behind the dazzling facade of celebrity? In a world where fame is often equated with wealth and luxury, the idea of a celebrity living on the streets seems unfathomable. However, the stories we are about to reveal will shatter your assumptions and leave you spellbound. From silver screen legends to chart-topping artists, these people have overcome unthinkable odds. Get ready to be captivated by the lives of 20 famous figures who found themselves homeless and whose identities might surprise you. Number 20. Britt Butler. Britt Butler's journey from the stardom of a sitcom to financial hardship is a story of resilience in the face of adversity. Born in Montgomery, Alabama, Butler rose to fame with her role in Grace Under Fire, in which she portrayed the life of a single mother, a narrative that struck a chord with many viewers. His performance was not only critically acclaimed, but earned him a place in the hearts of the American public. However, behind the scenes, Butler faced her own battles and struggled with addiction and mental health issues, which led to tumultuous moments on set and contributed to the show's premature end. Despite these personal problems, Butler's talent remained undeniable. He continued to appear on screen in a variety of roles, demonstrating his versatility and dedication to his craft. In recent years, Butler's life took a dramatic turn when he encountered financial difficulties. The actress, who had reached the pinnacle of television, found herself facing eviction due to unpaid rent. This stark contrast to her previous success was the result of several factors, including poor financial management and the impact of the pandemic on her income. Butler's situation grabbed public attention when a GoFundMe was set up to help her, further highlighting the fragility of financial stability even among those who seem prosperous. Now, at 66 years old, Butler reflects on her past with a mix of regret and gratitude. She continues to dedicate herself to acting, her eternal passion, and remains an inspiring figure for many who admire her honesty and perseverance in the face of difficulties. Number 19. Lonnie Willison. Lonnie Willison's fall from grace stands in stark contrast to the ostentation and glamour often associated with the modeling world. Born on January 25, 1983, Willison rose to fame in the early 2000s. Her striking features and good physical shape earned her coveted advertisements in various publications and campaigns. It seemed like her life was on the path to stardom. However, behind the bright images and flashing lights, a tumultuous personal life was unfolding. Willison's marriage to Jeremy Jackson, a star from Baywatch, ended in 2014 in a high-profile and bitter separation. The separation was marred by allegations of violence, and Willison reported an incident of strangulation during a drunken altercation with Jackson. This period marked the beginning of a heartbreaking downward spiral for the former model. In the following years, Willison's situation worsened. She was seen rummaging through trash bins and living in homeless camps, a shocking turn for someone who had been on magazine covers. Reports surfaced about her addiction and mental health issues. On top of the trauma from her past, the once coveted model was facing a reality that was a far cry from the runways and photo shoots that had defined her previous life. Number 18. Corey Haim. Corey Haim, a Canadian actor born on December 23, 1971 in Toronto, Ontario, had a promising start to his career. In the 1980s, he became a teenage heartthrob, wowing audiences with his roles in popular films such as Lost Boys, Lucas, and License to Drive. His charming personality and youthful appearance made him a much sought-after actor at that time. However, beneath the shine and glamour of Hollywood, Haim faced personal issues that impacted his life and career. He struggled with substance abuse and mental health issues that overshadowed his professional success. Despite seeking rehab and experiencing intermittent victories in his acting career, Haim continued to face challenges and setbacks. Tragically, on March 10, 2010, at the age of 38, Corey Haim passed away. The cause of his death was attributed to pneumonia complicated by an enlarged heart and arteriosclerosis. His untimely death served as a heartbreaking reminder of the darker side of fame and the devastating impact of addiction on talented individuals. Number 17. Lisa Robin Kelly. Lisa Robin Kelly, an American actress, is remembered for her captivating role as Lori Foreman in the 1970s series. Born in Southington, Connecticut on March 5, 1970. Lisa's path to stardom began thanks to her undeniable talent and passion for acting, which led her to graduate from the theater school at Paul University. Her portrayal of Lori, the rebellious older sister of Eric Foreman, resonated with the audience and made her a well-known character. However, despite the spotlight, Lisa's life off-screen was filled with struggles. Her portrayal of Lori, Eric Foreman's rebellious older sister, made an impact on audiences and made her a household name. However, despite the spotlight, Lisa's life off-screen was riddled with issues. She struggled with substance abuse, a struggle that began during her time on the show and was compounded by personal tragedies, including a miscarriage that affected her deeply. Lisa's battle with addiction led to legal problems, including drunk driving arrests and domestic dispute allegations. These incidents, which became public, only added to the pressures she was facing. In a candid confession, Lisa said she walked away from a rising career because of her drinking problem, a decision that haunted her as she tried to find a path to recovery. Her efforts to overcome her demons were tragically cut short. On August 15, 2013, Lisa passed away in a rehab center in Altadena, California, at the age of 43. The cause of death was attributed to a multiple drug overdose, a grim ending for a life that once shone so brightly on screen. Number 16. John Drew Barrymore. Born into the illustrious Barrymore family on June 4, 1932, John Drew's life was a tapestry of dramatic ups and downs. His father, John Barrymore, was a titan of theater and screen, and his mother, Dolores Costello, was a famous silent film actress. However, despite this Barrymore pedigree, John Drew's journey wasn't just a continuation. It was a constant struggle to carve out his own identity. Separated from the imposing figures of her father, John, and her uncles Lionel and Ethel Barrymore, her early years were marked by turbulence. When he was only 18 months old, his parents separated and he rarely saw his father from then on. Her mother, perhaps wary of the pitfalls of showbiz, tried to steer her away from acting by sending her to private schools and even to military academy, but the call of the stage was in her blood. At the tender age of 17, she made her film debut, stepping into the spotlight that seemed like her birthright. John Drew's career was a roller coaster filled with moments of brilliance in film and television. At the tender age of 17, she made her film debut, entering the limelight that seemed to be her birthright. John Drew's career was a roller coaster filled with moments of brilliance in film and television. However, it was also marred by personal issues, like legal troubles and substance abuse, which led him to spend time homeless. His life was a harsh reminder that even those born under the brightest stars can get lost in the shadows. Despite the turmoil, John Drew's legacy lives on through his children, including the acclaimed actress Drew Barrymore, who has embraced and transcended the family name with her own career. Number 15 is Jim Carrey. Let's take a trip back to the 90s, a time when laughter echoed in movie theaters. One man reigned as the king of comedy, Jim Carrey. Hailing from the chilly city of Newmarket, Ontario, Carrey's journey from her humble beginnings to Hollywood stardom is a story that embodies the triumph of the human spirit. With his elastic face and overflowing energy, Carrey burst onto the big screen, leaving audiences in awe. With iconic performances in movies like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber, his characters were more than just comedic roles. They became cultural touchstones, etching his name in the annals of comedic greatness. But Carrey's artistic repertoire goes far beyond comedy. They became cultural touchstones, etching his name in the annals of comedic greatness. But Carrey's artistic repertoire goes far beyond comedy. In an impressive display of versatility, he delved into the depths of drama, captivating audiences with thought-provoking performances in The Truman Show and eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. His ability to seamlessly transition from one genre to another solidified his status as a versatile artist. However, beneath the veneer of fame and success, Carey faced personal demons. He struggled with depression, and the tragic loss of his ex-girlfriend Catriona White cast a shadow over his life. However, from the depths of despair, Carey emerged as a beacon of resilience, channeling his pain into a passionate advocacy for mental health awareness. Today, at 62 years old, Carey's legacy transcends the big screen. 2001 is not just an actor, but also a painter and a poet who weaves deep stories through his art. His advocacy for mental health is a poignant reminder that even the brightest stars go through moments of darkness. Number 14. Erin Moran. Born on October 18, 1960, in Burbank, California, Moran was introduced to the world of acting at a young age, landing her first role at just 5 years old. She became famous for playing Johnny Cunningham on Happy Days, a role that brought her immense popularity, but also typecast her, making it tough for her to transition to other roles as she grew up. Despite her early success, Moran's life was not without its challenges. She faced personal demons like substance abuse, which, along with financial struggles, led her to a tumultuous period in her life. Her struggles were compounded by the pressures of Hollywood, an industry known for its relentless pace and often unforgiving nature. Moran's last years were marked by a decline where she had to face the harsh reality of fading stardom. The once celebrated actress faced financial instability and personal issues, a stark contrast to the bright and promising start of her career. Her passing, on April 22, 2017, due to complications related to stage 4 cancer, was a tragic end to a life that was once filled with promises of lasting fame and fortune. Number 13. Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid, an actor whose career spans more than 90 films, is often fondly remembered for his portrayal of the quirky cousin Eddie in the National Lampoon's Vacation series. Quaid's life has been full of legal issues. In 2009, he and his wife Evie were accused of defrauding an innkeeper. The next year, they faced trespassing charges. In 2009, Quaid and his wife Evie became the center of a scandalous episode when they were accused of defrauding an innkeeper in Santa Barbara, California, by using a fraudulent credit card to settle a hefty $10,000 bill. This incident marked the beginning of a series of legal troubles for the award-winning couple. The following year, they faced charges for trespassing after allegedly occupying the guest house of a property they had previously owned. These accusations added to the growing public spectacle surrounding the once celebrated actor. The situation escalated when the Quaids, facing arrest warrants, sought refuge in Canada, claiming they were victims of persecution. Their flight from the law was halted when they were arrested at the Canadian border in Vermont by our customs agents. In a surprising turn of events, a judge in Vermont dismissed the escape charges against them due to discrepancies in the case presented by California authorities. This decision allowed the Quaids to be released and settle in Vermont, where they have lived ever since. Number 12. Dana Plato. Dana Plato's life, marked by early stardom and later tragedy, is a story that resonates with the bittersweet symphony of Hollywood. Born as Dana Michelle in the fall of November 1964, Plato was adopted into a world that would soon see her as the darling of U.S. television screens. Her role as Kimberly Drummond in Different Strokes put her in the spotlight, winning the hearts of viewers with her portrayal of the sweet and wholesome teenager. However, as the curtain fell on the show that had brought her fame, Plato found herself adrift in an industry that can be pretty unkind to those it once adored. Her role as Kimberly Drummond in various hits put her in the spotlight, winning the hearts of viewers with her portrayal of the sweet and wholesome teenager. But as the curtain fell on the series that had brought her fame, Plato found herself adrift in an industry that is often unkind to those she once adored. The transition from child star to adult actress was filled with challenges, and Plato struggled to find roles that matched the success of the early days of her career. Her personal life also began to crumble, with financial issues and drug addiction casting a shadow over her days. His personal life also began to fall apart, with financial and drug problems darkening his days. The law didn't take long to catch up with her, and she was arrested for theft and prescription forgery, which further tarnished her public image. These incidents were symptomatic of a deeper turmoil, as Plato faced the demons of addiction and the pressures of a life once lived in the spotlight. Tragically, Plato's journey ended in an RV in Moore, Oklahoma, where she succumbed to a prescription drug overdose, a heartbreaking conclusion to a life that had once held so much promise. Her death, initially considered accidental, was later ruled a suicide, adding a final note of pain to her story. In remembering Dana Plato, we are reminded of the fleeting nature of youth and success, and the lasting impact of the choices we make. His story, though marred by tragedy, also serves as a testament to the enduring appeal of talent and the indelible mark it leaves on our cultural landscape. Number 11. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes, synonymous with action cinema and charismatic performances, has lived through the zenith of Hollywood success and the nadir of personal tribulations. His rise to fame was meteoric, with his first role in Spike Lee's Mo Better Blues laying the groundwork for a series of performances that would define his career. Films such as New Jack City, Jungle Fever, and White Men Can't Jump showcased his versatility and magnetic screen presence, while the Blade trilogy established him as a true action hero. However, the ostentation and glamour of his public persona. Behind the scenes, a growing storm was brewing for Snipes. In a shocking downfall, Snipes found himself caught up in legal troubles stemming from accusations of tax evasion. The actor, who had earned around $40 million at the height of his career, faced accusations of failing to file federal taxes and even claimed non-resident alien status in an attempt to dodge his financial obligations. The legal battle culminated in a conviction for 3 misdemeanor counts of failing to file taxes between 1999 and 2004. 2004. Usand. Despite his efforts to settle the debt, which totaled $5 million, Snipes was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison, a sentence he began serving in December 2010 after his appeal was denied. His time behind bars was a period of introspection and learning as he reflected on the value of time and the consequences of his choices. Released in April 2013, Snipes came out of prison with a renewed outlook on life, a clearer vision of his values and purposes. Since then, he has kept a relatively low profile, punctuated by select appearances in films such as The Expendables 3 and Coming to America, alongside Eddie Murphy. His story is a harsh reminder of the fleeting nature of fame and the lasting impact of one's choices. Number 10. Danny Bonaduce, known for his role as the wisecracking Danny Partridge on The Partridge Family, became a familiar face in American households during the 1970s. His portrayal of the red-haired middle son of the family musical band earned him fame and a special place in pop culture history. However, the transition from child actor to adult was filled with challenges. For Bonaduce, the end of the comedy marked the beginning of a series of personal struggles that would test his strength. In 1990, he had to face legal issues when he was arrested for trying to buy cocaine, which was in stark contrast to the anti-drug event he was supposed to host in Daytona Beach, Florida. The end of the comedy marked the beginning of a series of personal struggles that would test his strength. In 1990, he had to face legal troubles when he was arrested for trying to buy cocaine, which was in stark contrast to the anti-drug event he was supposed to host in Daytona Beach, Florida. The following year, he was arrested again, this time for assault in Phoenix, which cost him his job in radio and led to financial struggles. The once famous actor found himself homeless, living in his car behind a dumpster near the Grauman's Chinese Theater, a symbol of Hollywood dreams. Despite his past fame, he became just another face in the crowd, struggling with addiction and the harsh realities of life on the streets. But Bonaduce's story didn't end there. With determination and support, he sought help for his addiction and began the tough journey of rebuilding his life. His efforts paid off, and he finally returned to the airwaves co-hosting a morning radio show in Seattle, a role he held until his retirement in 2023. Bonaduce's comeback is a powerful story of overcoming adversity, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there's always a way forward. Number 9. Bobby Driscoll. The story of Bobby Driscoll's life is a heartbreaking tale of a star that shone too bright, too fast. At the tender age of 6, he jumped into the spotlight, and by 9, he was already a Disney icon with his role in Song of the South. His portrayal of Peter Pan was not just a voice role, it was a performance that would immortalize him in the hearts of children and adults alike. Driscoll was the epitome of youthful exuberance, winning the Juvenile Academy Award for her roles in So Dear Is My Heart and The Window, and securing her name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But as he approached adolescence, his countenance changed and, with severe acne marring his once cherubic face, Disney severed ties with him, leaving him adrift. The rejection led him to a life marked by drugs and crime, culminating in his arrest and subsequent rehabilitation in 1961. Once free, Driscoll's attempts to rekindle his passion for acting were met with cold indifference from an industry that had turned a new leaf. He ventured to New York in search of a Broadway revival, but success eluded him. Tragedy struck when, at the age of 31, Driscoll was found dead in an East Village apartment, a victim of heart failure caused by years of substance abuse, discovered by some kids. His end came in complete solitude, far from the adoration and applause that once defined his existence. His story serves as a harsh reminder of the fleeting nature of fame, leaving us with a legacy tinged with both charm and sadness. His end came in complete solitude, far from the adoration and applause that once defined his existence. His story is a harsh reminder of the fleeting nature of fame, leaving us with a legacy that's colored by both charm and sadness. Number 8. Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter's life was a roller coaster of dizzying highs and devastating lows. He burst onto the scene at the precocious age of 7 and quickly followed in the footsteps of his brother Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. His debut album in 1997 catapulted him to stardom, and by the age of 9, he was a global sensation. With his second album, Aaron's Party, selling 3 million copies just in the U.S. However, after his 2002 album, Carter's life took a turn. After a 16-year break from music, he found himself caught up in reality show controversies, family disputes, and substance abuse rumors. Financial problems plagued him by the time he turned 18, with $4 million in tax liens and only a fraction of his earnings in hand. Carter's battle with addiction and mental health issues became public as his physical health visibly declined. In an attempt to recover financially, she turned to OnlyFans, selling personal content to her fans. But the struggle was too tough, and on November 5, 2022, Carter was found dead in his home, a tragic end to a life full of promise. The cause of death was a heartbreaking combination of inhaling refrigerant and taking Xanax, marking a sad close to the chapter of a star who once shone so brightly. Number 7. Stephen Baldwin. Stephen Baldwin, the youngest of the Baldwin brothers, has had a life that's anything but ordinary. Known for his roles in movies like The Usual Suspects and Biodome, Stephen's career has been a roller coaster of ups and downs. But it's not just the bright lights of Hollywood that have defined his journey. Behind the scenes, Stephen has faced battles that have tested his resilience and spirit. In 2009, Stephen's financial world crumbled. He declared bankruptcy, a decision that exposed the extent of his financial problems. The list of debts was long and daunting: unpaid taxes that piled up by the thousands, mortgages that stretched far beyond their means, and credit card bills that piled up one after another. It was an astonishing amount of millions of dollars that left Stephen in a desperate situation. But the financial strain was just part of the story. Stephen's personal life has also been a struggle against substance abuse, a long shadow over his quest for inner peace. Stephen's story is tinged with glamour and tragedy, a tale that speaks to the human experience of facing one's own demons when in the spotlight. Number 6. Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson, synonymous with the sun-soaked beaches of Baywatch, has navigated a tumultuous sea of fame and personal challenges. His Malibu home became a symbol of his success, but also a source of trouble. Construction costs skyrocketed, and tax collectors came knocking at her door with bills in hand. Despite the glamour, Pamela's finances plummeted and she was forced to part with her beloved home for $75 million. It was a tough lesson that even the brightest stars can stumble under the weight of poor financial management. Her story, a mix of celebrity allure and harsh reality, reminds us that behind the glitter there is often a story of resilience in the face of adversity. Number 5. Mike Tyson. The mighty superstar boxer is the perfect example of how an addictive personality can take someone from being mega-rich to absolute bankruptcy. Tyson came out of a troubled youth to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history, a title he won at just 20 years old. His skill in the ring was unmatched, with a record of 50 wins, 44 by knockout, solidifying his legacy as a boxing legend. However, behind the shine of his $400 million fortune, there was a darker reality. Tyson's life was marred by an addictive personality that led him down the path of excess. His love for luxury drove him to acquire opulent mansions, fleets of high-end cars, and even exotic pets like a Bengal tiger. But perhaps the most peculiar of his indulgences was his collection of 3,000 pigeons, some of which cost thousands each. His love for luxury led him to acquire opulent mansions, fleets of high-end cars, and even exotic pets like a Bengal tiger. But perhaps the most peculiar of his indulgences was his collection of 3,000 pigeons, some of which cost thousands each. In 2003, the reckoning came. Tyson's lavish lifestyle and poor financial management culminated in a staggering $23 million in debt that forced him to file for bankruptcy. Svitozindian, the man who once reigned supreme in the boxing world, was forced to sell his assets, in stark contrast to the life of greatness he once knew. Number 4. Lena Headey. Lena Headey, famous for Cersei in Game of Thrones, faced acclaim and struggles. Despite success, financial issues arose, notably during her divorce. Fame from Thrones and 300 didn't shield her from real-life problems. Despite her on-screen success, Headey faced financial struggles off-screen. Her roles brought fame but didn't shield her from issues. The 2013 divorce was draining emotionally and financially. Headey's roles as the formidable queen in Game of Thrones and as Queen Gorgo in 300 brought her international fame, but did not immunize her from her real-life problems. Their divorce, which was finalized in 2013, was not only emotionally draining, but also financially draining. At one point, Headey claimed to have less than $5 in her bank account, a stark contrast to the wealth of her on-screen characters. The financial pressure forced Headey to make significant changes to her lifestyle. She sold her Hollywood Hills home, a symbol of her success, and moved to a more modest place in the San Fernando Valley. The ongoing legal battles over custody and financial arrangements have forced her to navigate a complex web of legal paperwork, which has only added to her stress and financial burden. Despite these issues, Headey continues to work in the industry, showing her resilience and dedication to her craft. Number 3. Amanda Bynes. In her day, the spoiled girl of Nickelodeon, along with her show, Amanda rose to teenage stardom with hits like What a Girl Wants. However, beneath the spotlight, a shadow loomed. Amanda's life was spiraling as she struggled with a substance use disorder, her rising career overshadowed by legal troubles and increasingly scarce opportunities. The money, which once seemed endless, started to dry up. Her problems became public. The money, which once seemed endless, started to disappear. Her problems became public. Problematic tweets, driving mishaps, and psychiatric admissions stood in stark contrast to her on-screen persona. Soon, she was placed under guardianship, which stripped her of financial autonomy. But resilience defines Amanda's story. She fought against withdrawal and in 2022 regained her independence with the end of her guardianship, marking a hopeful resurgence from the depths of her struggles. Number 2. Todd Herzog. Before his fame as a survivor, Todd Herzog soared through the skies as a flight attendant. But it was his strategic skill in Survivor China that earned him the $1 million prize at just 22 years old. However, beneath the glow of victory, Todd faced a hidden battle. The alcohol use disorder threatened to take away the fortune he had worked so hard to earn. He needed treatment to understand his situation. He overcame addiction. Now sober, Todd lives happily with his husband, Jess. He proposed with dolphins, marking his new chapter. Now, in the calm of sobriety, Todd enjoys a peaceful life with his husband, Jess Hermanson. In a touching twist, he even turned to dolphins to orchestrate a magical proposal that symbolized the new and happy chapter he has embarked on after his recovery. Number 1. Kim Basinger. Kim Basinger, the ultimate femme fatale of Hollywood's golden age, captivated audiences with her sultry roles. However, her life was plagued by financial problems. In a bold move, she invested $20 million in a Georgian city with the idea of turning it into a film hub. But the dream fell apart, leaving her with a staggering loss. Financial pressure led her to declare bankruptcy, in stark contrast to the charm she exuded on screen. In the midst of these trials, his personal life fell apart. Her marriage to Alec Baldwin dissolved in a high-profile divorce that further depleted her finances. Basinger once reflected on Baldwin, saying, "We get along with whatever, but he has been a challenge." The glamour of Hollywood couldn't shield her from the harsh realities she was facing. And despite her talent and acclaim, Basinger's financial recovery continued to be tough. Thanks for watching. For more mind-blowing revelations, click on the next video that pops up on your screen.